Looks good, we are live. You can go, Alushka.
Thank you so much, Sebastian. So good day, colleagues, tourist guide members, and welcome to our final session of our three-part association journeys. In the previous two sessions, we heard from our association members and we heard about their success stories and their challenges. And this has been proven to be a great way for our members to learn from one another and to find inspiration in moving forward. If you've missed these previous two parts, feel free to visit our WFTGA official YouTube channel. Sebastian has loaded the recordings onto that channel, and today's one will also be shared there. We are live streaming today, as well as recording for the future. Sebastian is our resident technical support guru, so he will be there to assist with anything technical, should you need anything, and he'll also be my right-hand man in facilitating today's session. Today we'll be hearing from our member associations in Slovenia, Azerbaijan, Malaysia, Colombia, Ireland, Italy, Stockholm, and finally Croatia. So let's start today's journey session. Our first presentation is from Slovenia, and Slovenia is actually one of our first members in the 2020 journeys that showcase their use of technology. So we're quite excited to see what they will be presenting today. So Nina, welcome, and I hand over to you to present on behalf of the Association of Regional Tourist Guides of Slovenia.
Thank you, Alushka. Hello, everybody. Hello from Slovenia. So I will start my presentation, and I hope that everybody can see it. Yeah, just one short yes. Okay, thank you very much. So I will present today our journey in Slovenia. Everything goes like this. So in January and February, we started the negotiations with Slovenian Tourist Organization. As you maybe know, the last year we already got some support from our Slovenian Tourist Organization, and we started to talk, to negotiate already in the beginning of the year. We also got some universal basic income that was for everyone who is self-employed, and we were just, a lot of our guides also get it till May 2021. We did a big, I can say a big event with International Tourist Guide Day. That is also what we was mentioned. So 3 days we were online, having an online event together with guided tours discussions, as well as a really big PR conference with the General Secretary Ministry responsible for tourism, as well as destination representatives. And it was really a great media coverage. So we were really happy about it. And it was a great deal to promote our work. So between March and May, we did online guided tours on weekly basis. So Mondays in English, Wednesdays in Slovenian language, and Saturdays were reserved for all other languages. We used a Restream to stream it on the different channels, so from Facebook page to YouTube channel and destination pages, also as well as the guides also stream it on their own profiles and pages. What was our goal? Our goal was awareness campaign, so to reach the audience, to say that we are still here, that we have some new products. We try to involve also new destinations in Slovenia, so that it was, the whole Slovenia was covered with these online guided tours. And we started also online guided tours for people in nursing homes. So the people who are not maybe able, not anymore able to travel a lot, but they are curious, they would like to know something, they would like to learn the things. And that was also for us something what we can test on new possibilities and new markets. And it was quite a great success. in the field of continuous professional development, we did with Consortium Claustra Plus and Institute for Cultural Heritage a series of online trainings about the trees along the Roman defensive wall claustra. This is what also our guides said, that it is a nice work, and we learned a lot. And then came the June. In June, Slovenian Tourist Organization funds again with a program My Slovenia, and we were able to get between 1,000 and 3,000 euros of support, or better to say, we could work giving the guided tours, and the guests, the visitors were not, didn't pay us, but the Slovenian Tourist Organization paid for our work. Also the tourist agencies could apply, and they can got up to 7,000 euros. We were limited, so every guide was limited with up to 70 tours. And this program is active till mid of December. So we are still working on, and 63% of our guides were involved in this project. 37 were those who didn't show any interest because they were like employed. They found some other job. They had no status, so they could not cooperate, or they couldn't work in this program or project, so to say. What was our main challenge was how to find the audience. So we could give the guided tours in different languages, but anyway, we did a great job with putting the meeting points where the tours are starting. We did some brochures, Facebook promotion. We also connect with local tourist organizations, and I believe that most of the guides are already at the limit. So they having 70 tours, or they already used all the money what was given to us or given to collect through this program. So in October till December, we are still able to use also coupon 21. This is some kind of support from our state to tourism. So last year it was only possible to use this kind of coupon only for staying in the hotel or apartment or having the B&B. And this year it is also possible to use it for coupons, for cultural attractives, activities, also guiding and those things. So everyone who has a permanent address in Slovenia got it. For the adults, it's 100 euros, and for children, 50 euros. So we can also use it, or we can give the possibility that the people can arrange us and they pay with this coupon. So 40% of our guides has joined this program. 50% are not interested. They find it quite difficult and complicated. And 10% are those who will start, but we will give them education hour about that. We also start in this autumn online guided tours again. So 33% are already doing it, 40 will start in autumn, so now in November, and 27 are not interested. What we saw in this summer is that there are a lot of guides, so-called guides, who are guiding around our cities with no license. That's why we are starting real control on the market, on the field. So we work more intensively on this topic with ministry responsible for us, because it is really a lot. So almost every day you can see somebody who is guiding the groups around and not having a license. In this September, so in this autumn, we also cooperate with tourism stakeholders. So Claustra Plus and the Slovenian Institute for Cultural Protection, responsible for educational cooperation with tourism stakeholders. This is something what we already do, and new on the horizon is the Women Writers Route. These are two projects, so-called, and the other one is cooperation with the Association for People with Disabilities, or kind of disabilities. And yeah, we just finished our online general meeting, so elections. We will do in autumn also monthly meetings in regions and virtual coffee. Somehow this COVID situation showed us that it is great also if we meet one time in the month, also virtually, so that everyone from the all parts of Slovenia can join. And from November on, every Tuesday, it will be again Zoom educational hour. That means that the guides will be giving some knowledge to other guides. Also, we did some, and we have also in plan some new study tours across Slovenia. And at the end of October, so the 25th of October, we will celebrate 5th anniversary of our organization. And it will be a full day event in Ljubljana. There are some more activities in continuous professional development that will be ready for 2022. So this would be my presentation from our journey 2021 so far. What are our goals for the future? I will say thank you for your attention. You are also very welcome to like us on our Facebook page, Argos Guides, and also to follow us on YouTube, Regional Tourist Guides of Slovenia Argos. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nina. And as always, your association does so much. So thank you very much for that. And it's great to see the continuation and what you've added on and what you've built on from your 2020 projects. I think that is really good to show that you've grown those projects moving forward. And I think I can really suggest, if you have not watched the 2020 journeys, do that first, and then you will understand Nina's presentation and how they've built on what they did in the previous year. Thank you so much, Nina.
You're welcome. And if anyone has any question, I'm here for you.
Great.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Can you exit screen share, and then we can move on to our next presenter. So our next presenter will be from Azerbaijan Tourist Guides Association. We have Tural, the Secretary General, joining us. So welcome today, Tural.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be here. Can everyone hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great, great. Thank you very much for having me. It's a big pleasure.
Go ahead.
Wanted
start
to
your presentation. Thank you, Tural.
just for a second. Oh, no. Was some, I guess, technical issues, maybe?
We stop screen sharing now. It was already, yes. Just
because I didn't see anything in my on my screenshot. On my desktop. Oh no. Well, yeah. I guess
good.
Thank you, Sebastian. Thank you very much. So good morning to everyone. Yeah, as Ms. Alushka told, I'm the Secretary General of Azerbaijan Tourist Guide Association, and we are still a very young association. Unfortunately, we are the for the moment only one association in Azerbaijan, in our country, been established in 2018, but trying constantly improving the situation of the tourist guides in our country, represent them. And here are some projects which we made so far in 2021, working on other side, separated on the finalized project and also on the ongoing projects, which I will go in detail, take just a few moments on the time. So in the beginning of the year, we had, some of you may know, we had some war conflict going on in the region in Azerbaijan. So there was a new region which was before very inaccessible for us, the Karabakh region. And after the beginning of the year, so we decided, when the situation was settled down, that it has a big tourism potential, and we will lovely to train the tourist guides for the future to be able to get access there, to see the areas, and of course to get the knowledge. So we conducted it was very harsh pandemic times and with the regulations in Azerbaijan, so we did online courses for selected 30 tourist guides with the different language skills, at least 2 or 3 language knowledges. We had over 19 different topics, speaking of the ethnography, historical, cultural lectures, and the main conclusion, the goal was to bring them there, and of course not only to do it online, but mostly to do it also offline. So on that part we are working still, because it's not safe from the security point. Therefore we are collaborating with the governmental organizations to be able to do that as soon as possible. There was a very interesting, we had such a working group established in Atka, which was concentrating on the specific topics related to the whole area of Caucasus. As you know, Azerbaijan is located in the southern area of Caucasus, and it's a very strong, diverse ethnicity, diverse religious mix, and they were always crossing between major empires coming from east to west or from west to east. So there are a lot of the interesting historical paths, which has been most of the time during the end of the Soviet Union and after collapse of the Soviet Union, as we are previously were Soviet republics, the governments were not interested to preserve and keep. So we are trying as the guides to give an example and to give this, to wake this awareness for the organizations, for our governmental institutions, and as the guides we are conducting these working groups to go and make research to find this old monuments, churches, synagogues, and different historical objectives, and to bring that more up for the case of re-establishing and reopening as a touristical areas, to bring up plans for because we were working with the Ministry of Finance, and we suggested to them that if we'll bring the suggestions or areas with the tourism board of Azerbaijan of the new touristic destinations, that they will give the budget to improve the infrastructure for the ways into these regions, to get access to this area. So we're working on that. We covered most of the northwest areas and the west areas of Azerbaijan. We are talking about 500 square kilometers to the west and more than 400 square kilometers to the northwest areas, which our working groups has covered, visited over 70 places, found over 70 objectives. They visited even more places, but it was very interesting with the documentation, with the reports and everything which they have shared with us, and we shared, of course, with the governmental institutions. So we are planning to work on that more specific also for the next year and do it even at the bigger scale. So we had a possibility to join the Global Tourism Plastic Initiative with the UNWTO and with the situation nowadays, and especially in the tourism, it's also a kind of like situation where we can influence at least our environment in more or less. And we were trying to do the itineraries with the travel agencies, or promote that the plastic-free itineraries with the bottles, water bottles. We as ATCA also support, for example, when we are doing nowadays events or conducting trainings, we are looking for that really plastic-free environment. So we joined this project. We are planning to co-work in several organizations in this initiative for the future, and conduct many webinars. So the main idea is that the tourist guides, which are members of us, are not only our members, but to get the idea why it is important to recycle, why it is important to have less plastic as possible in the daily lives. And if they understand this, then it will be much easier to implement. So we had, before that, I mentioned that our association was established in end of the 2018. So we started to work in 2019, and till 2021 we had no membership base. So it was a pilot project when we were trying to cover all the tourist guides to get first the understanding the scale of work, how many tourist guides are there in the country. And we had estimations, and it's come out to the conclusion that we have in our country about before pandemic 500 tourist guides. Nowadays, after the pandemic, a little bit less than 300. So since April 27, 2001, we announced official membership for the Tourist Guide Association. And as for the moment, we have 142 members, active members, which we are trying to cover. All this process is online, how to apply to the memberships. They can read about the benefits. We are trying to supply them with as much benefits as possible, depending, of course, on the budget, and to cover them, to give them always with the knowledge, keep them updated, so to say, not only with the newsletter system, but we have very active closed Telegram channel for our members, where we are constantly updating what is happening around the world in the tourism field, what is happening here in Azerbaijan in the tourism field. So that's also very interesting to see how they're getting very active, because nowadays, slowly but surely, we are going again on the right direction after pandemic. So the tourists are starting to come. So it's very interesting to see they are very engaged in this. We had a meeting with the corporation of the Ukrainian Guide Association.
1 minute.
1 minute, okay. Oh, I will do it much faster. So where we're trying to establish networking, which we will work together, and also interesting projects which we are working for nowadays. There are big increase of GCC countries in Ukraine, tourists from GCC countries in Ukraine, where we in Azerbaijan have many tourist guides which are speaking fluently Arabic language, and they were asking us that if we will be able to collaborate for the next year high season. So we have of course, regional trainings, especially in the different rural areas of Azerbaijan, where we are collaborating and training according to the WFTGA standards, the local tourist guides. We conducted so far many, but in this year we had just trained 22 local guides, because we were waiting for successful TTT trainings. This was one of the last HOTs which we done previously. So far it was 4th HOT which we have conducted as an association. There were Russian groups, English groups, in total 22 tourist guides which were trained. We have a cooperation with the 2 different culinary associations here in Azerbaijan, because gastronomy and tourism is very tied together nowadays, and they will help us to understand for our guides more about the gastronomy and the cuisine.
Thank you, Tyrell. You can start wrapping up with your last slide.
There are a lot of the things which are going on so far, but I will state at the time schedule. So
Sorry to interrupt you, Tura.
No worries, no worries.
Send us your whole presentation, and we can always share that with our members later, but we have to be strict on time to ensure fairness to all. So thank you very much for showcasing all your collaboration. I think that was really a key takeaway, is how much you've collaborated with other sectors and partners in your country. And it really does show that collaboration helps you move forward. So thank you for that, Terrell, and lovely to hear from the Azerbaijan Tourist Guide Associations.
Thank you very much.
And with that, we move on to our next presentation from the Malaysian Women Tourist Guide Association. We have Trace with us. Trace, if you would like to join us.
Yes, is everyone hear me clearly?
You're a little bit soft, so just keep your voice a bit raised, but otherwise you are good to go.
Okay, how about like this?
Fantastic, much better. Thank you so much, Trace. I hand over to you, and we look forward to hearing from your association.
Okay, let me share the screen. Okay, shall everyone look at the screen here? Able to see?
Looks good.
Thank you so much for your reply. Okay, good morning, everyone. It's actually a good afternoon from Malaysia. It is 3:26 p.m. right now in Malaysia. And actually, Trace from Malaysia Women Tourist Guide Association. And during this pandemic, actually, we are very sorry to say that we didn't do any grouping tours at all, because Malaysia is just opened up the tourism industry, just started on 11 October. Previous month and also previous years, we all totally locked down for border and also the tourism industry. So what we have done is actually we prepared our tourist guide. We let them have a much more training on that. So actually in this 27th of September, we celebrate the what they call World Tourism Day online. So we have called up our tourist guide to join us in Facebook, in Zoom, in YouTube to celebrate this World Tourism Day. And shall I just share with you, we have some short video on this one. It is 1 minute video.
From Malaysia to the world, the Malaysian Women Tourist Guide Association would like to
invite everyone to celebrate World Tourism Day and Be Tourist Community Festival.
We, the official tourist guide, in the light of the COVID-19 outbreak, we take this opportunity to prepare and rebuild ourselves by getting ourselves vaccinated,
upgrading our knowledge and polishing our skill with non-stop learning.
Align with World Tourism Day's theme,
Tourism for Inclusive Growth. We are preparing to welcome you.
Because together, we reactivate the country tourism.
Happy World Tourism Day!
Happy World Tourism Day! Purposeful sensory journey.
Okay, this is just happened in this September actually, and then we celebrate from September 27th until the 3rd of October on this one. We call that Be Tourist Community Festival. And from the journey in our Malaysia, actually journey from 21 to 22, we are doing a lot of online activity at online. So very happy to announce that actually we have our member in growing. From female, it is an ordinary member of 76.84% on it. And then our affiliate member, which is male member, which is 23.16% on our total member. In the increment of our member, actually, you can see from the chart is 2020, we only have 257 members. But in this year, 2021, by January onwards to September, we have increased up to 380 members. Why we have this increment during this pandemic and without any tour, anything happen in Malaysia is actually we are help a lot of tourist guide to sit in their confirmation course. So in Malaysia, actually for the new graduate or fresh tourist guide, then need to complete, need to sit in a confirmation course after the 12 months to 24 months in the travel industry, which is we call that tourist guide confirmation course. So we are arranging a tourist guide confirmation course since May until now. We have helping up to 269 new tourist guide to become a confirmed tourist guide in this year. So a lot of them is because seeing Malaysia women tourist guide is activate in the tourism industry, so they are willing to join us in our association. So for the benefits, actually in all overall in Malaysia, we have a lot of association, but the benefit giving to our member is we free the we exchange annual fees to become a CTRE, we call that. It's actually continuous tourism related education. Actually, Malaysia licensing tourist guide, they need to sit in 3 class of this continuous tourism related education, only can renew their license yearly. So each year they need to spend 3 certificates. So we convert from this membership to become a 3 certificate class for our member. During this pandemic season, we all doing online. So we are all in the Zoom meeting, although on YouTube, on Facebook, we do all interpreting skill, arranging and organizing skill, and also the technology of the enhancement of the tourism. So all this actually, we have a monthly event, monthly class for them. So just pick and choose whatever date they are suitable to join in. So we posted all these app to social media, which is on Facebook or Instagram. So our tourist guide, even though we are open for non-member also. So as you can see, we are helping everyone in Malaysia, not only the members only. So besides that, actually, we do have some event to connect back all the tourist guide. It's actually because you see, during this pandemic, all tourist guide very suffer on this pandemic. So to help them out, we do a lot of events to connect back to upgrade themselves also. We do have some event calendar every month, so they can join our event activity online, virtually. So no need to participate in others function or physically. But coming soon, this October, we do have physical class started, because just announced by our Malaysia government on 11 October onwards, we are open for interstate travel and everything, but the border still closing down. But we encourage the Malaysian to travel in the domestic. So we start to train up our guide, our tourist guide, to do some physical training. So we do have some physical training, such like Malaysia Heritage Walk, in batik chanting workshop. It is actually a tail painting. And we do have traditional game Malaysia, cooking experience in our center. So we can teach our tourist guide cook the original food. And we have Mak Yong dance workshop. Mak Yong dance, which is intangible heritage in Malaysia also. So we do on this physically or online CTIE, which is continual related tourism education, to upgrade them and help them up to upgrade their skill to get their renewal licensing. Okay, so previously we did a lot online, but now we are starting on physical part because we want to more contacting with our tourist guide actually. And Malaysia actually have a lot of products which is from heritage or to nature. That's why we actually split up them to 7 criteria category. We are from TOURIST, these 7 words. We classified them in Old Town, originality of food, UNESCO, rainforest, island, spiritual, and traditional trade. So all this actually we are advocating from the SDG. We are trying to promote that. That's why we are starting to promote our specialist guide, which is we are ongoing. We do have a eco snorkel guide. We try to train up because the island, the nature, which is the main major tourism in Malaysia right now. So we take this initiative in a special interest. So we guide certification that cooperation with SIGA, which is Southeast Asia Tourist Guide Association, and also CMAS, Eco Snorkel Guide that we know about code of conduct, and then the knowledge of the marine habitat also, snorkeling skill, conservation and preservation awareness, the importance of the equipment using to promote this responsibility of tourism. So we are using this to train up a lot of snorkeling guide, and also coming soon we do have some rainforest guide too on this one. So in this year, actually, we are trying to give our guide more knowledge, and then we give we upgrade them their skill, we give them a lot of training, all these things. Actually, we try to promote storytelling. This is the first. Storytelling, innovative, creative, and digital. We prepare this tourist guide on the best practice for preservation, interpretation skill on the thematic tours, interacting skill, arranging all the skill for the post-pandemic world. And last but not least, actually, we make sure propose the tourist guide in tourism inclusive of growth. So lastly, I try to promote our page. Actually, everyone can follow our social media. A lot of video and story is on our social media, even though Facebook or website or our NBS channel in YouTube. Thank you so much. This is my presentation today. Thank you for your timing.
Thank you, Trace. And you're also most welcome to share your videos onto the WFTGA social media. We're always happy to feature our members, but you must share it with us so we can share it as well. And then congratulations on showing so much growth in your membership during a pandemic year. That's really special. And I think it's obvious that the benefits have really been received well by the tourist guides. So well done on that.
Thank you so much.
Great. So we move away from Malaysia and we are now joined by the Professional Tour Guides Association of Boyacá. We have with us Alvaro. So Alvaro, welcome. We hand over to you to do your presentation. And I think I pronounced it Boyacá. Is that the correct pronunciation?
Boyacá. Yes, you're right.
Good.
That's right.
It's a tongue twister Colombian city, right?
Sorry, come again?
Boyacá is in Colombia, a city in Colombia?
Yeah, it's one state or department, as we call, from Colombia.
Great. So, Alvaro, over to you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the invitation, Alushka, and all the WFTGA board. And my name is Álvaro Guzmán, and I'm member and spokesman of AGTPB, Professional Tour Guides Association of Boyacá in Colombia. I would like to share a little bit about me. I'm a member of our Association of Tour Guides in Boyacá. We also belong to a network of tour guides in Boyacá and to the Confederation, National Confederation of Tour Guides. This is a little bit of the work that we do in Tunja, that we are in the city in which I live. A little bit of location, geographically, Colombia is located in the South American continent. We are surrounded by countries like Brazil, Ecuador, Peru.
Sorry to interrupt you, Alvaro. I just want to check your presentation. Sebastian, are you able to assist Alvaro?
Yeah, I want also to jump in. We can't see the presentation. It's screen sharing started, but...
Okay, I'll try it again. Sorry.
Yes.
Let's see what's happening. Now?
No.
Okay. What about now? It's working?
Still no screen sharing.
Okay.
If it won't work, I have your presentation here. You started screen sharing, but we can't see the presentation.
Is it working now?
No. Then let me help you. I will
Please.
start screen sharing, and you just have to say next slide, and then I will continue.
Thanks, Hassan. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. As I told you, I belong to the Professional Tour Guides Association of Boyacá. This is the Colombian flag. And our brand, it's our logo of the association. Next, please. Next, Sebastian, please. Thank you. This is a little bit of the work I do in Tunja, in Boyacá. This is the capital city. And we always try to share about the history of our cities. As I told you, I'm a member of the Professional Tour Guides Association of Boyacá. We also belong to a network that we create this year in our state, and we belong as well as the National Colombian Confederation of Tour Guides. Next, please. Okay, a little bit of geographical location. We are in the South American continent. Next, please. We are surrounded by well-known countries as Brazil, Ecuador, and Peru. Next. It's well known that in South America, we have the Andes mountains, and in Colombia, we have a special division of these mountains. And precisely, Boyacá is located in the eastern range of the Andean Mountains. Next, please. Yep. As I told you, we are in the eastern range of the Andean Mountains. Next, please. And we are divided in 14 provinces, and we have 120 towns or municipalities. And in this state, we have different climates, and that's why our state is really wealthy in biodiversity, natural landscapes, and the climate. This is Tunja. This is the capital city. It's a 482 years city. We had many processes from colonialism, and we have a architectural heritage. Next, please. These are some pictures that can you give an idea what we have in Boyacá. These are the coldest lands. We have moorlands and the mountain range. Next, please. We also have fresh areas as the foothills. Next. And also we have deserts. Next. Thank you, Sebastian. As you can see, we have many landscapes and things really, really important for our country. This is something special in Boyacá that we still have remains, original people from the Muisca community. We still have sacred temples, sacred lagoons, observatories, and traditions. From the colonial period, we still remain old houses, churches, temples, in which we can visit and enjoy part of the history. We are also known as the land of freedom. Please, next. The independence from the Spain crown happened around 200 years ago. Next. And we have beautiful monuments and that remind us all this process of independence. Next. Thank you. Next. We have those monuments called Vargas Swamp and Boyacá's Bridge. Those are really important. So in the objective about the tour guides, we depend on the Commerce, Industry and Tourism Ministry, and we are under the law of the Vice Ministry Office. And we have a national tourism registration to become a licensed tour guide, and we have our brand as a national brand. So I told you we are a really new association. We were founded last year during the pandemic. We are a non-profit organization, and we have 26 members in all over the state or the department. Our idea was bring together Boyacá tour guides for promote development, protection, and safeguarding of the heritage. We have been collecting and fundraising economic aids for the members of our association, like groceries and biosafety kits, and we run a program called Heritage Watchers, in which we take care of the heritage that we have in our department and the whole country. That's a program for the Ministry of Culture. Next, please. This is one thing that we are designing and developing our brand. And as members of the National Confederation, we were participating actively in setting the law and the regulations for the tour guides. And we also help to manage the economic aids from the government to the tour guides and nationwide. We received around $170 along 3 months in the beginning of the pandemic. In this case, we are talking about the Ministry of Culture. In this process, we have started the Heritage Watchers program to bring people to help us to take care of our heritage. It's a voluntary work, and everybody, any citizen in Colombia can join this program to help and protect our heritage, natural and immaterial. Could you, yeah, the previous. This is the network of the state. This one was founded this year, in the beginning of this year. To this network, we belong 5 associations that exist in the department. So our idea is connect other girls of the tourism industry, make new relationship with local institutions and other associations in the country and as well in other countries. Next, please.
1 minute.
Thank you. Some of our activities that we are advancing in conversations with the department of government to manage some places like Boyacá's Bridge, the Vargas Swamp Monument, natural reservations, and tour information kiosks. That's the idea, that we can manage that places to get some incomes for the tour guides. And some other activities, we are creating some fan trips to share the information that we have. Some members have run radio broadcasting programs to share the history and popular traditions. We have set gastronomic festivals and bird watching festivals. Next. Okay, those are some of the things. Sebastian, you can please ahead. Those are some activities that we have been doing, and bird watching activities, also of the natural heritage, historical, inclusive tourism, lecturers, courses. Next, this is the some thing that we have been doing in the radio. And we have, could you show me the previous, please, Sebastian? The last one picture that you can see it's a movie created in 3D that shows the history of the Muisca community. It's called Tundama. Those are the kings of the indigenous communities, and it's a investigation from the UPTC. It's a local university, and they put that in a 3D movie, and it's available for all those who want to watch it.
Thank
I would
you,
appreciate
Alvaro.
this opportunity. Thank you all for listening to me, and I'll see you soon. Gracias, Merce.
Thank you, Alvaro. Lovely to hear from our members from that side of the world. And again, you featured collaboration and how your Tourist Guide Association works with the ministry, which is always good for us to see. And then also your collaborative efforts with your 5 organizations forming that little sector. So well done on achieving that. Thank you, Alvaro. Thank you. And with that, we move on to the approved tourist guides of Ireland. So with us, we have Jessie. Jessie, welcome, and we look forward to hearing what you have been up to in Ireland.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for the invitation to talk to you here this morning. Welcome from the approved tourist guides of Ireland. I'll just get my screen up here. And there we go. So 2021 actually got off the worst possible start with one of the strictest lockdowns in the world. And that went on and on. It was extended and extended. In February, on top of that, a mandatory 14-day quarantine period was introduced for everyone coming into the country who did not have a negative COVID-19 test. And by May, indoor hospitality still was not open. On top of that, our traditional date for the beginning of the tourism season, our national holiday, St. Patrick's Day on March the 17th, was cancelled for a 2nd year running. And traditionally, hundreds of thousands of people, especially from North America, would come to Dublin, especially for that event. A cautious reopening started in June with the opening of hotels, but it was aimed at the domestic tourism market. And you could not walk in off the street and have a meal in a bar or a restaurant or a hotel indeed. And one of the backbones of our tourism industry, the Irish pub, these were mostly closed because if you didn't serve food, you couldn't serve drink. And it wasn't until mid-summer, in mid-July, that we had the introduction of the EU digital COVID certificate for travel originating within the European community. Visitors from Great Britain and North America could also travel to Ireland, provided they followed various conditions. But really, tourism only began again in September when there was the lifting of more restrictions. And by the end of September, public transport was now back at 100% capacity. Coach travel was back at 75% capacity, up from 50%. So this is when real tourism started, and masks had to be worn, of course, on all these coaches. Now, there's a big shadow over October the 22nd, which is when we were hoping that the restrictions would be lifted, apart from the wearing of masks in hospital settings, indoor retail, and on public transport. But due to another surge among the unvaccinated, and we have a very, very high rate of vaccination in Ireland, 90%, in fact, 67% of those being hospitalized due to COVID are now the unvaccinated. So there's a big push on to try and persuade them to get vaccinated. And of course, there was an impact on training. Because training is supplied by different educational training establishments, their reaction to the pandemic varied greatly. So whilst some courses were deferred, other courses went ahead. We had blended learning, where a lot of the learning took place online. Some assessments, unfortunately, were held online also, and others waited until they could do it in person. New courses will be starting this November, and I'm glad to say that they will be face-to-face. government support as regards marketing was aimed at the domestic tourism market. So they had a campaign called Keep Discovering, and this really made ATGA members think outside the box. We had to we had the challenge of the fact that 95% of our business traditionally comes from the international market, and yet the government were not wanting people to come from abroad. They were targeting their campaigns at the domestic market. This continued with another campaign. This is aimed at the international market, but that just got underway this autumn, and it's aimed at our main markets such as Great Britain and North America, and it has an audience of around 150 million people. So hopefully people will start pressing the green button and booking their holidays for next year in Ireland. Even pre-COVID, we had an online trading voucher scheme whereby whatever you put into your e-commerce business would be matched by the government up to a maximum of 2,500. This included things like the development of an app or digital photography or advice and consultation with an ICT expert. This has been continued, fortunately, because many guides availed of that to build their own websites. And you can now claim 2 of these online vouchers. So if you were to spend 2,500, you would get 2,500 euro twice over. We had planned improvements to our own website in previous years, and they have just been implemented, and we're looking forward to visitors using our new Find a Guide service, which is not under the fastest fingers first setting, but it is now a fairer system, and people have more of a chance of applying for jobs that come through our website. So we're happy about that. The government paid a pandemic unemployment payment to tourist guides, and in 2020 we had to fight and lobby in order to make government understand that we are not seasonal workers. We in fact pay taxes over the full year, and therefore we're entitled to the pandemic unemployment payment. Some guides, for example, those already with a state pension over 66 years old, unfortunately were not eligible to apply for that, and we could do nothing about that. But for those who were on the pandemic unemployment payment, they could earn up to 960 euro over an 8-week period whilst retaining their full PUP entitlement. And that was quite a generous entitlement. Until September, there were 3 bands, and the top band was 350 euro a week. Then it went to 250, and it was reduced on September the 14th by 50 euros. And by next February, it will be down to what the rate is for ordinary job seekers. So they're trying to phase it out little by little. Now, so for some good news, the challenge was there. So this is how some of our members reacted. And I have a quotation here from Tanya Jordan. She said, while it was difficult to go from a packed diary to nothing, it forced many to think outside the box and to try something new. My event and guiding experience merged with the lifelong passion for foraging, and a new business was born. Some other colleagues began offering hiking, nature walks, niche topic tours for the domestic market. And while international visitors are vital for our recovery, for me, this very dark cloud also had a silver lining. So she organized these foraging walking tours, which were very, very successful. And another colleague, Pauline, did a few things for her professional development. She trained as a tracks and trails lowland leader. She trained as a leave no trace trainer, and we had a very interesting talk from her last night. She did some courses, including learning Irish, and she enjoyed the lectures which were organized by ACI every Thursday evening, so they're ongoing. Another colleague, Colette Farrelly, organized this coastal walk, for example, the Malahide Coastal Walk, and kept in touch with her tour guiding colleagues through the evening lecture series. And Jutta Shannon did a training course under Mountaineering Ireland and has already put her new skills into use as a guide for mountain walks. Now, one member, Oksana, developed a digital marketing company and encouraged ATGI guides to allow her to do the digital marketing for her for a small fee. And this encouraged members who were perhaps not so great with the technology of digital marketing to invent new tours and let Oksana do the marketing for them. And that was very successful as well. Here we see Jermaine and Ina doing street art in Dublin, which is very successful. Mark Doherty here from Connect the Dots Tours went from being, as he says himself, a complete technophobe to being very successful in giving online guided tours with the help of Google Earth, Street View, slides, and so on. And although he said that people stopped at the speed bump was the paywall, he said that it's been hugely advantageous in making him rise through the rankings of TripAdvisor. For example, he went from being a nobody to being in the top 4 of the top 400 visitor attractions in Dublin. He says the advantages of online guided tours are keeping the brand alive, rising through the TripAdvisor rankings, seeding future bookings, and the potential earnings from online guided tours for students, for example, of educational establishments such as international students.
1 minute warning.
Thank you. We had a very successful collaboration with WFTGA, who taught us ATGI members how to do online guided tours, and that was very enjoyable as well as informative. We had FEG training in March on dark tourism and contested histories. And we're finally having our first FAM trip this year, a 2-day event in 5 days' time, and we're looking forward to that. And I'll finish up with a little poem written by a colleague called The Pandemic and I. Time to grow a little small in girth, time to grow in my self-worth. Lockdown was tough, did I know enough? Did lectures on Zoom then, Tanya's foraging boom then, walked 8K each day, and with new pals I whiled the hours away. Got funding for my own website, building it sure was a fight, but then when it was almost done, that's when I said, let's start the fun. Creating a walk along the coast, learning stuff I needed most, meeting guides for great days out, Zooming talks were all about. Being a bigger, better guide, blogs, creativity in our stride, new ideas, art on the street, foraging for things to eat, talk on ancient rites long past, working with our ATGI cast. And I'll leave it there because it's a little bit long. Thank you very much for your attention. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Jessie. And what a way to end the presentation. We would love to share that poem in our next newsletter, so please share it with us on email. I think it's a really good way to end. So thank you for that. And yeah, I mean, what your government has done as well for your tourist guides is really great. We have not had that in many countries. So thank you for featuring that as well.
Thank you.
And with that, we move on to Italy. We have with us Michela from Italy's National Association of Tourist Guides. Michela, welcome, and we look forward to hearing from you about your journey.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be with you today. I try to share my screen. Can you see it?
Not yet. You have shared the screen, but there we go.
All right. So, sorry, I have to go on. Sorry for this. There we go. I think you should see it now.
Looks good.
Yes. So my name is Michela Ceccarini. I'm the secretary of ANGT, which is the oldest national association of tourist guides in Italy, a member of the World Federation and of FEG. Actually, we exist since 1986. And so I decided to show you here the first number of our magazine in times of paper and paper magazines. It was ACTA. The very first number was in 1991. Actually, since then, we keep on working independent Actually, we do not have commercial aims. We do not organize tours. We have more an institutional role, and the association enhances and promotes the profession of qualified tourist guides in a country where, as you know, qualified tourist guides are recognized, so we have to pass an examination. And it's a different profession from being a tour leader or a hiking guide, for instance. We interface with institutions, authorities, in particular, since there are many local associations which refer to ANGT, we keep on the, the meetings and dialogue with the general national institutions, and so the Italian Parliament, the government, and through FEG, the EU Parliament. In our board, the president is Adina Persano, vice presidents Anna Bigai and Cecilia Mostardini, and I think you all know Andrea Ogumbisi, our delegate, who has taken participated to all the meetings of the World Federation. If we have to speak about challenges, actually there are challenges which are our, say, job since years, and we keep on looking after these since years, every year, let's say daily. In particular, we follow the item of the new law on our profession, which we are waiting for since 2013. So in this moment, there are no new examinations for new tourist guides, and we are wishing to really have a complete law about our profession soon, and a law which could really enhance the professionality and the in-depth knowledge of the country, and in particular a specialization in the areas where we really practice, because Italy is a small country but very rich in heritage in every single region. So we need specialization in the different areas of the countries. We keep on following the item of all the regulations which may interfere with our activity. We participate in parliamentary hearings and other kinds of public meetings. We keep on fighting against all forms of abusive practicing of the profession, which is nowadays really a very big problem, especially because of many abusive guides who sell their job, their services online. And we keep on, we keep our contacts with the local associations. We share our members with local associations all over the country. 2021 has been a difficult special year, and we had the special challenge to help our colleagues, first of all, to get information about the continually changing regulations related to COVID-19 pandemic. We have kept them informed continually so that they really knew what they could do and what was not possible. We had to work a lot, especially in 2020, to obtain aid from the state, and aid from the ministry was quite good at the end of 2020, when each guide received about 7,000 euro. But some colleagues did not receive that, So we kept on working to help the colleagues. And now we try also to help them obtain aid, because sometimes bureaucracy is complicated. So in particular, we organized frequent video conferences with a specialized tax and business consultant, so that the guides who needed counseling could get it. And these video conferences have been all the time open to all guides, not only to our members. But let's go to something nicer in a way, and it's the International Tourist Guide Day 2021. I'm the person in ANGT who organizes the, networking of all the local associations to work for the International Tourist Guide Day, together with other colleagues. In particular, I want to name one, Daniela, who has helped me for many years. And well, this year in February, we were still in a very bad condition because of pandemic. In some regions, it was possible to have open air guided tours, but in many it was not possible. So we decided it had to be online, virtual. Locally, all the local associations did something online. It could be on Zoom or videos, but we organized something new, which we were really very proud about. L'Italia che ti sorprende, so something with a title like Italy Will Surprise You. It was a live trip through Italy. Our president Adina Persano and Roberto, a colleague, were introducing the colleagues who were commenting on something special in their locality, in the locality where they work. And it was really like a marathon through Italy, all live, about 2 hours, and we received something like 6,000 likes in a few hours on Facebook. Here is the Facebook address for our International Tourist Guide Day in Italy, and the website for the Tourist Guide Day in Italy as well. A few data about how work is restarting in our country. Well, we have restarted, starting from summer up to beginning of May, Italians could not move out of their regions. So the tours were only really for the locals, so for the citizens of each city or each village. Now we restarted, say, from August or September, depending on the areas. And we are now living a sort of a short high season since the beginning of August. We still have strict regulations about, because of COVID. In particular, since August, you need to have an EU COVID certificate to go into all culture places. It can be museums, theaters, exhibitions. You need it for charter buses and to go inside restaurants. But
you can start wrapping up.
Yeah, a good bit of news. Since October 18th, no more number restrictions in museums. The last slide is this one, and well, we noticed some changes. Not all guides have the same opportunities to restart, because probably this year has changed our tourists as well. Proportionally, they prefer to go to smaller towns rather than in big cities. They prefer smaller groups. They travel individually. They like not too crowded areas. And of course, also the nationalities have changed. We have had very few English-speaking tourists, because most of them come from overseas, and many more German and French-speaking.
Thank you, Michaela. I think
Thank
that's
you
a great
very much.
summary
Grazie.
of what all of the associations are facing as well. And well done on your International Tourist Guide Day. 6,000 views, absolutely amazing to have so much engagement. Well done and lovely to hear from you. And now we move on to the Association of Qualified Tourist Guides of Stockholm. We have Elizabeth with us. Welcome, Elizabeth, and we look forward to hearing what has been happening in your side of the country.
And let's see if we get the share going. If not, maybe my friend Sebastian will help me.
Sebastian?
Yeah, let's
you do
wait.
have the
I have the presentation.
Thank you.
I
Why
can
don't you go
share
ahead?
it. No problem.
Sounds good.
Here we go.
Okay, so very welcome to a short presentation, which will actually focus only on the pandemic and on what has happened since last autumn in Stockholm, Sweden. Stockholm is the capital of Sweden. We lie all the way up in Northern Europe. And we have a local association, which is a strong and healthy and good one, which I certainly can say now after what has happened during the pandemic. We were lucky enough to have almost all our members with us. Very few decided to not join anymore. And we also did get a few new add-ons who had received their qualification in June this year. Next one, thank you. FSAG, the Association of Qualified Stockholm Guides, was founded in 1953. Now 380 members, 29 languages. I would gather about 40% of our members have moved to Sweden. And thus we have a wide variety of languages, which is quite incredible. The situation is also different due to the climate of Sweden. Only recently do we have winter tourism, so 20% rely only on guiding. 30% are employed somewhere else as teachers working in a store, etc. And they work as a guide in their free time. And about 80%, we do think, have other sources of income. Sebastian? Now, what happens to the ones who didn't make money in 2020? Because just like everywhere else, everything stopped in March. There was a slight income of tourism in October, but it was only a few weeks when they thought the pandemic was going to end. Fortunately, the government decided to fund those ones who have a small company, sole traders, as they are called. And there's been 4 periods, March through July, August through February, March, June 2021, and July to September 2021. During that time, you had to prove that you had a minimum of 30% of loss of revenue in your company. And there was a maximum amount of 2,400 euro paid to you per month. You had to hand in documents, all your tax documents had to be handed in. It was a not too difficult process to do it. You didn't have to be an expert, but you did have to have all your tax documents very clear. We do not have any proven amount of how many of our members do have their own company. We estimate it might be about 50% of our members, maybe 60% of our members who do have their own company, are sole traders. So those did profit from it. There was, though, and I should say that a minimum amount of money that you usually had to have as an income, as revenue per year. So some of those members who fell beneath that limit were not eligible to get the amount. Other people also would have had unemployment benefit if you had paid into an unemployment fund, which is rather usual in Sweden for people who have a fixed employment. Then you would receive a monthly amount, but you were not able to work at the time. You wouldn't be allowed to take even one single assignment or so. Quite strict rules. Either you're unemployed or you own your own money. So yes, government helped us, and that was one time when most of us who did profit from that possibility felt that yes, it is perfect that we do pay taxes because we do get something back. I would certainly say that. Now, what about work opportunities? Work opportunities, there were, not last year, hardly anything last year, but this year in 2021. I would say of the 380 members, I would know about 20 to 30 who created their own walking tours, new walking tours designed in Stockholm, marketed only through their own company. Just as some other colleagues have said today, we do not have anything that we sell through our homepage. Everybody is a sole trader. Everybody is responsible for his marketing. And those tours have been very, very positively received by local people in Stockholm and in Sweden, people who came traveling to Stockholm this summer. We also do get requests by families or groups through, for instance, our homepage, where we do have a wonderful service where you can either choose your own guide or just choose the language, and then you get the mail is sent out to all guides who speak that language, and you can register as a possible provider of the tour to the interested client. The most important thing, though, are the cruise ships. Sweden receives cruise ships both on the west coast and on the east coast, and Stockholm is by far the largest cruise port. We can go on, Sebastian. And I will get back to the topic in just a second, but here you can see colleagues who are working with guests from Asia, Russia, or Israel. They had no guide work. And that, I would say, might be about 30% of our members. They really had to turn to something else, either get another source of income or to start studying. But for those colleagues, it is still quite hard. And since you may not travel into Sweden from a country outside of the European Union until the end of October, my colleagues whom I've talked to from Thailand, for instance, they say that they don't estimate to have work again until at least in a year's time or so. We can go on. Now, back to the cruise ships. In 2019, we had 281 cruise ships calling, 650,000 guests. They can stay overnight. Sometimes the cruise ships will stay 2 or 3 nights. In 2020, there was almost none, just one or other boat showing up but leaving again. In 2021, we had a rather interesting thing. It was called Blue Cruise. The first one showed up in May 25th. People couldn't believe their eyes, have not seen a cruise ship for more than a year. Those people came, the guests came and were not allowed to get off the ship. They just came, and on a gigantic cruise ship that usually takes 3,000 people, 1,500 people did travel on that ship, and they looked down on Stockholm from above, you could say. Then on June 15th, the first people were able to get off the ship in a bubble. They walked with guide colleagues, and a lot of our colleagues have been employed through the 3 different cruise ship companies that have been coming. 90% of the guests are German speaking. That gave the opportunity to almost all of our German guests, German guides to work. And it also gave the opportunity to guides who spoke English, who had a translator from the ship on their buses. The season this year will continue through December 2021, which is rather odd. We've never had that before. Remember, in December, there's daylight about 5 hours a day or so. So it's going to be an interesting trip, I guess, for those guests as well. But it's quite funny, and it's nice to show that that life is actually quite different. And this year, still 100 cruise ship calls came, and the estimate is 150,000 guests getting off the ship. We can go on. Here you can see harbor workers. This is in May 25th, and you can imagine how incredible it must have been. Harbor workers who hadn't seen a cruise ship even took out the camera to take a picture. Or look at this next picture. These are cruise ship guests standing up on their ship, looking down on Stockholm, not being able to get off. It must have been frustrating, but I've heard on television that these guests were happy to just be able to travel again. And this is before they were getting off then. That picture we can just jump, yes, we'll get on. And I'd like to just mention that we have had a very active season in our association. We have members meetings, digital and physical attendance ones. We have a new president in our association who, just as our former president, is very active and very proactive in order to involve all of our members. We have good training, such as voice coaching or contact with the tax authority. We have digital lectures, very well attended, 70 members each time or so. So it's been very positive to see how many new things evolve and more intense activities from the association side. Can we get on? Next picture, please. And this is one thing I wanted to show you. In spite of all the restrictions, Sweden, which has had a rather liberal and open attitude towards how to face the pandemic, does have about 1/5 of the guest nights so far this year have been by foreign guests, Germany topping it all. To our big surprise, the US as number 2. We don't quite know where the US guests are hiding because they're not very visible on the streets. And in theory, they may not come directly from the US, but rather through another European country, because foreign guests outside of the EU are able to enter only after October 31st. The Netherlands, France, Denmark, Norway, UK, Switzerland, Spain, and Italy on the last place. So we do have, we do look positively to the future. We are very happy about the activities our association offers us. We do have meetings on Thursdays, lunches, outdoor meetings. So let's say the support that we do get from our association has been incredibly valuable, I would say. Those are the words from Stockholm this morning. Thank you very much for listening, and I wish you all a good continuation, and let's hope for a better future.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you for those last thoughts. It's really great that your member association is really supportive of all the activities. And thank you so much for touching on the cruise ship side of things. The cruise industry has really had to adapt and change, and with that, us as guides have had to adapt and change. So thank you so much for presenting on that. And we wish your association all the best.
Thank you.
And for our last presentation, we have from the Croatian Tourist Guides Association, we have Christina with us. Welcome, Christina, and we look forward to hearing from you and what you have been up to. And I believe some good things of late have materialized, so we look forward to hearing about that.
Hello from Croatia. I hope you're all well. So we have a lot of things to say, and I have to do it in only 5 minutes, so I'm gonna really I only have
10 minutes. You have 10 minutes.
Great. Okay, great. Just a second, I have to share. Just a second. I still can't share my presentation. Sebastian, please, can you help me?
You normally should be able to share because nobody else is sharing, but I now give special permission. Are you able to share now?
No. I don't know why. Just a second. Oh.
On my side, I can't do anything else.
I don't know how. Just a second. Move spotlight. What does it mean? Just a second. Remove spotlight.
No, that's not. Can you click on share screen?
I have. Just a second, I will do it once again.
Christina, perhaps you can just speak us through your presentation. So if we don't see it, maybe you can just talk us through it.
Or you
yes, it's gonna be really a pity. So
you can mail it to me immediately, and then.
Just a second, please. I'm sorry. I don't know how I can't do it.
So I bring Alushka to here in.
I think,
Okay.
Christina, maybe can you email it to Sebastian?
Yes, I'm gonna try. Just a second.
And then he can get that up and running. And then in the meantime, what we can say is that Christina will be sharing shortly some news around the Guardians project, which we are very proud of the initiative of what they started. It started a few years ago as one of their ways of celebrating International Tourist Guide Day and to get the locals involved and schools involved. And we share this as a challenge to all our association members across the globe as part of their initiative to kind of use what they've set up and use their logo and use the information and to roll out a similar project in the countries. And we'll be sharing that information as well as the coming months. And what you would have heard is a lot of reference to our International Tourist Guide Day. And for those who don't know, this is a day that is celebrated once a year on the 21st of February, specially dedicated to us as tourist guides. And this day it's handled differently in all the countries by all the members, but we give a general theme around the day and we ask members to speak to that theme. And we will have the German Association celebrating in the next week, their International Tourist Guide Day. As I say, Croatia celebrates with the Guardians project. And then other members also celebrate on different times of the years, acknowledging the day because they're unable to celebrate on the actual date. And we do ask members to get your locals involved, get your local communities involved, and also your new tourist guides. Also use it as an opportunity to mentor and share that knowledge and the skills between the more experienced tourist guides and those joining the sector. So keep an eye out in the coming months. We'll be sharing communications on our social media as well as in our newsletters about International Tourist Guide Day, the 2022 theme. And this day will be celebrated after our convention in Novi Sad. So Novi Sad will be ending and then we'll roll straight into International Tourist Guide Day. So hopefully we'll see all of you online for that. Christina, have you managed to send your presentation to Sebastian?
I sent it to you, but I can't see you right now. I don't know what is my, just a second.
Okay, we are running out of time on our live stream.
Yes,
so
I know. I'm gonna start, however. So
you can start speaking.
Okay.
And we will try and do something with your presentation for you.
So far it's not here. I will jump in and show the presentation when I
Okay, so thank you.
got some message.
So I hope I'm not gonna skip something. So according to our colleagues from Italy, we also have a lot of parliamentary hearings and enormous support of local authorities. So that means also departments and the city, because we also, like in Italy, we have a new law on our profession. And we were also in contact with our colleagues from Slovenia. And I have to, in fact, I really have to say something about the new European Parliament resolution on 25th March 2021 on establishing a new EU strategy for sustainable tourism. In a part 71, I have to read it because it's really, really important to all of our colleagues. And it seems to me that, in fact, European Parliament changed something. And I think that we should all, in fact, do something together. I think that we should all write to our deputies in European Parliament. So it's like this: request that the Commission publish and share with stakeholders and with the member states good practices for the professional tour guide profession in order to address the problems affecting this sector. Considers that professional tour guides play a vital role in promoting cultural heritage and synergy with the local territory, its traditions, and its specificities. Believes, therefore, that this profession should enjoy adequate protection in the labor market in order to ensure high-quality services while preserving open and fair competition. Calls on the Commission to analyze the lack of mutual recognition in the sector in order to ascertain where the Union can make the requisite improvements. So, in fact, you see, for us, it's really important that we have a good representation and interpretation of our cultural heritage. And of course, we are doing, of course, a lot of projects, not just in cooperation with the foreign embassies. We would also like, in fact, to have in the future to have the cooperation with our colleagues. For example, we have a good cooperation with the Embassy of Israel, Embassy of Algeria, and we hope that we will also get in touch with our national, in fact, colleagues from the other national association of guides. So since we have really
Christina,
yes,
here we have the presentation. I'm on slide 2.
Yes, but I have just a second. Okay, thank you so much. So please, you can move on. Okay. Yes, so this is it. So see, we have a lot of, in fact, actions that are really become famous, especially the actions Get to Know Your Country, since it has been organized in 50 cities last time, then it was, in fact, last year. But this year we couldn't organize it. Then we prepared one beautiful video from all, in fact, our member association, and now we have 20 association. It was with my vice president, Mr. Vinko Bakia, as you know. So he died this year, so it was a tremendous loss for us. He was also a professor in the University of Tourism in the city of Zadar. So even now, in fact, we are really sad about that loss, and we think that in the future we're going to organize something really nice, but that's going to be for the future. So this year we organized, in fact, of course, also for the Tourist Guide Day. We were the participant in rural tourism through storytelling. We had a huge amount of videos, education, online lecture. Here I put, in fact, the link, but now, in fact, I think that we don't have time. They were all in a lot of languages. For example, in Kvarner, they organized the representation of the olive oil production in 8 languages in the small town of Vrlika with the family of Mr. Joško Režić. We organized also the representation of hinterland of Dalmatia. And please, you can move on. Thank you. So we also, of course, organized a lot of online lectures. You can move on. Thank you. You can move on, Sebastian. And of course, for example, in Trogir, we also had the representation of the storytelling, the story that was speaking about production of olive oil with our colleague Anna. And we also there, we met the professors from the Faculty of Agriculture, and we were really happy. And now, in fact, we have one project to be done. So in the future, so I hope that this is going to be really a start of really one beautiful cooperation in the future. You can move on. Thank you. For example, in Kvarner Tourist Guides Association, since you know that Rijeka was the European Capital of Culture in 2020, and due to the situation with COVID, its title was extended until the end of April 2021. Therefore, our member association in Kvarner, in cooperation with the organizer, designed and organized city tours in the month of closing the title. They designed a tour in the footsteps of a European Capital of Culture and tours of murals. Please, Sebastian, you can move on. Thank you. So, of course, all around Croatia, we organized a lot of education for our members, especially, for example, in Karlovac, they really did a great job. Also, for example, in Šibenik, they have a lot of projects, so in funds of Ministry of Tourism. You can move on, please. So we also organized with the department, so not just department, but really the part of Croatia called Dalmatia. So we organize a storytelling destination. So if you really huge amount of education and the new tours. So really, as you can see, in costumes. So it's really something new, and we are doing it all around Croatia with a lot of projects. For example, in Association of Tourist Guides of St. Michael, Šibenik, they had, as you can see, a calendar, although it's in Croatia. So every month they have something new. So, for example, I would like to emphasize one nice project, a story from Šibenik's kitchen. But also they have a beautiful project, Tell Me Your Story, where they invite the local inhabitants to tell them their stories. And of course, they speak with them. And of course, those are the new stories about the old town of Šibenik. Please, you can move on. And of course, since I also mentioned that we are doing really a lot of things considering the new law, we are also the members of the Advice for the Recovery and Development of Tourism. And thanks to our colleagues from Turkey, we were the ones who had occasion to speak about that project, and we made a new project, and ministry said that it was really, really great one. And they organized really a great project, Safe Stay in Croatia. And also I have to emphasize that our government, considering the supports, they did really a great job. So everything was really fast done, really great. We had some small issues that were really that were really okay. So really fast. So we done everything really fast, and we can say that they did really a good job. So of course, for the World Food Travel Day, we were also the ones who participate in this beautiful organization of WFTGA. So please, if you can stop just a second. So, and of course, we also did a huge amount of videos, and we were a lot of times on our national television. And I have to also mention that all of our colleagues are now representing Croatia through international media. So we are always emphasizing that guides are really, really important for the promotion of the country, and of course for the tourism development strategy, since our colleagues are throughout, in fact, Croatia, and local, of course, levels, and of course the national level. You can move on, please. And of course, now I would like to say a few words about our project that started from the city of Split and the Tourist Guides Association of Split. It has been called, in fact, the Diocletian's Chest. And as you know, World Federation of Tourist Guides Association really helped us a lot. So all around, in fact, Croatia, and now also the Bosnia and Herzegovina, we are trying to spread this project called Children, the Guardians of Our Heritage. These are the photos of the project made in Karlovac, and I'm really, really proud, since now Karlovac, thanks to this project, is a candidate for the annually award of the city of Karlovac, and I hope they will get it. So you can move on, please.
1 minute.
Yes. Okay. So in assistance of reconstruction of Franciscan complex in Karlovac, as you know, so we have the earthquake. So we were really included in that. We have to help our friends from the area that were touched by the earthquake. Please, can you move on? Okay. So Association of Tourist Guides Association of Korčula received the collective award of the city of Korčula for a special contribution in the field of social life, of course, in the presence of the president of the country. Please, you can move on. So we're really proud about it. You can see the photos of my colleague, the president of this association, Stanka Amadeo. Then, of course, Diocletian's Chest, you can move on, because it's the project, the children, the guardians of our heritage, that entered the school curriculum, that really recognized. You can move on, please. So we have two parts of the project that we would really like to invite you all to implement this project. So children have the opportunity to tour the palace with expert guides, and in the second part of the project, they participate in the knowledge quiz and an exhibition of student works on the theme of Diocletian's Palace. You can move on. And then, of course, the best one will get a prize from the cities. So you can move on, please. Also, of course, you can move on, because we are really proud that the World Federation of Tourist Guides Association helped us a lot. And yesterday, I really, as the employer of the city of Split, I really had an honor to represent this project in front of the Organization of World Heritage Cities. There is an organization, international one, that gathers 300 cities with the protection of UNESCO and covers the population of more than 250 million people. So I was really happy to present World Federation of Tourist Guides Association, our project, and I called them, in fact, to participate in this project. They were really, really surprised, to tell you the truth. For example, in St. Petersburg, they asked me how they will, in fact, how they can organize that project over there. And of course, then I told them to call Alicia, of course, to have the contact, of course, with the World Federation of Tourist Guides Association. And please, if I can propose, if I can suggest, so that we get in contact officially with the Organization of World Heritage Cities, since I think that it's really a good way to implement this really great project for preparing future generation in sharing and respecting our culture and heritage.
Thank you, Christina.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that quick presentation, so much information, and well done on all your achievements and awards that you've won. And absolutely, we will stay in contact. We will share the information about the Guardians Project again with our members, for all the new members, so they can also stay up to date. So thank you very much, Christina.
Thank you. If I can just thank to all my colleagues from the Croatian Tourist Guides Association.
Of course, and that is the timer. Great. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our sessions. We thank all the presenters for the informative information they've sent. We've had a 3-part series. This was the 3rd part for 2021. And again, a reminder to view the 2020 journeys on our YouTube channel as well. I hope we can have you join us tomorrow, as we will be featuring on the World Tourism Network a session about our 19th convention. So please join us for that. For more information, you can follow our social media. And then from my side, Alushka, President of the World Federation of Tourist Guide Associations, and on behalf of our Executive Board, thank you once again to all our member associations for participating in this 3-part journey. We've learned a lot. We love to hear about your success stories, and we hope that you've been able to learn from each other. So stay strong, stay safe, and let us keep working at keeping our profession in the spotlight. Thank you, everybody.